West Indian front room. My parents come from St. Vincent in the Caribbean, and they are the inspiration for this piece of work. I consider the front room to be a work of art, dressed normally by the mother of the family, but sometimes used by men. The front room pays homage to the hard work, endurance and determination that was put into building a good home for the family. Front rooms across the country are the nucleus of memories of all those who came to England to invest in this country's economy and received very little in return. As an icon of kitsch, furniture and consumer fetish, the front room resonates throughout the African diaspora. It was usually the one room in the home where you weren't allowed unless there were guests. From the sugar starch crochet doilies on the upholstered settee, to the glass fish, plastic runway on the passage carpet, artificial flowers on the fake marble coffee table, the floral wallpaper and carpet, and of course pictures of Jesus at the Last Supper, to then Jim Reeves playing on the blue spot gramophone. All of this signified good grooming. No matter how poor you were, if the front room looked good, then you were decent people. The interviews you were about to see include Via and Newton Christian, Ruby Richards, and Mrs. Robinson, who all gratefully allowed me into their front rooms to talk about, take photos and video the things they love.
When I got this house, I went and bought a piano. If I tell you about this piano, I went to Swans in Oxford Road. In those days, you just walked to everywhere, you know. And I went in and I said, I would like a piano. I haven't got much money. I just want something that my daughter can practice on. I can't remember how much you sold me the piano for. It was so cheap. And they delivered it was in the front room. Now the front room at Delvina Street had the piano one side. It had the display cabinet in one corner. And
Did you have a settee?
I'm not sure. Yes. I tell you what, I had one of those you know, those that you lift and you can sleep on.
Oh, right. Sofa bed.
That's right. I had one of those because when the weather was bad, I and sleep in the kitchen.
Oh, because the cooker could be on.
It was in the kitchen to keep me warm.
Right. Yes,
So yes, I did have a settee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have crochet? You know, like doilies, crochet over the head of the you know, they make crochet.
Yeah, I know what you mentioned. I used to do a bit of crochet, but it's for like dressing table and I still got a lot of it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Like little things for the table. You know, I can't remember doing on the dollies for the chairs.
All right.
Don't think so.
But you put them on a coffee table, or you
Oh yes, I had a coffee table in the middle, as I said, a good table, and this frilly crochet thing. In green. I can keep some of them now.
So what was your coffee table like?
It was round.
Wood?
Yes, of course. Just like all this
that
brown.
one there. Okay.
And you know, And but the children couldn't go in the front room until special, because that's what they did with me when I was a girl growing up.
Really?
Oh yes, the front room. No, nobody go in the front room.
Only when you had special guests or special occasions.
Oh my God, they had 4 rocking chairs, so the 4 corner, and that was all, and a center table, a table in the middle, and a small table, and a vase on top of that with crow. You know what we call croton? There it is behind you there.
Yeah.
It used to grow a lot in my garden, so I would break a piece off and put it in the vase on the thing there, and it grows. And then you plant it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at home now, thinking about home, we had a wireless, we call it wireless at home. And I'm telling you straight, it used to be in my father's bedroom. And whenever he walk in and any jazz music
Playing.
he turned it off.
Really?
Oh yes.
Why was that?
He says that's rubbish, you're not supposed to play that. I don't know if your parents was very strict
Oh, they
with
were
you.
like that. They were like
My
that.
God, my father was.
We couldn't play reggae music on a Sunday. He had to play Jim Reeves and gospel and church music.
Dear.
But they didn't really. My parents, they didn't really go to church much. But they thought if on a Sunday in the front room on the gramophone they played Jim Reeves and some religious music. That was their way of respecting God at that time. You know. But yeah, they were strict. So what music would you allow on the wireless then?
I mean, in those days,
Yeah.
a bit of classical music. That's what he likes.
Right.
That was what he likes.
Right.
And he was the first person I know in Jamaica that have tea. Whenever he's at home, he used to be. Here he's over there.
Okay.
He worked at the railway. His father worked at the railway as a driver, and when he came of age, he went to the railway as a driver.
This is in Jamaica?
That is in Jamaica.
And where was the railway? Where was the railway? From Kingston to...
Kingston to Montego Bay.
I came here in June 1944, just before, a week or so before D-Day. So I can claim to have been serving before D-Day, that was the 6th of June 1944.
Were there other West Indians with you?
Oh yes, I came in a batch of about 350.
Wow.
From all over the West Indies.
And where were you based?
Well, we were initially trained at Friday, but after our initial training, we were dispersed all over the country.
So what was it like?
It was an experience that had to be gained through hard work and coldness and bitter rain and snow and fog and ice. It was something that you couldn't buy. You have to experience it, and it was an experience that was worthwhile.
Yeah.
There were few women West Indians over here. Few, very few. They are mostly men like myself who afterwards had the option to remain or who signed on.
Yeah.
But there were very few females. And when she came over here in 1949, and when she walked into the street in Manchester and see another black female, she was delighted.
Yeah.
You know, the first one she met, she hugged and embraced her as if they were sisters. And likewise to the side, because they weren't many. They were mostly men, young men.
So did you do any entertaining, any socializing in your front room?
Yes. When we formed this club in 1953, we acquired a clubhouse of our own, around about 57. And sometimes when we have a dance at the town hall, or dance at the club, we used to get about a couple dozen bottles of beer and bring it home. And then people would come to the house, my house, in Hume, and have a good time.
Play some dominoes.
This was very popular.
Cards.
This was very popular.
And then you had your gramophone. What would you be playing on the
No, the
gramophone?
gramophone was in the front, we would dust them away, you know.
So what kind of music would you be playing?
Oh, well, all sort of music, yeah, nothing specific. Anything
Do you
that,
remember anything?
no, I can't remember anything in particular, no.
Would it be something like Elvis or?
No, Elvis was only a young lad then.
Alright.
He wasn't but popular with the older person, the people.
Right, yeah.
He was more or less in the teenage group.
Right.
No, Elvis wasn't one of the favorites. It was, you mentioned one this morning,
More or less Jim Reeves.
Jim Reeves, yes, Frank Sinatra,
Right.
Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, that's sort of,
Okay.
that's sort of,
Okay.
because those people, yes, those sort of people,
Okay. And then people used to go around to each other's front room?
Oh yes, we used to go to the front room and have a knees up,
Yeah.
especially if it's a birthday party or something like that.
Yeah.
Such an occasion is a big occasion for us, because it's going out,
Yeah, that's right.
you know.
Dress up.
And coming back. Oh yes.
And how do you think that's kind of changed over the years now?
The change has come about because of the new electronic music system. The radiogram is no longer of any use to anybody, and the DVDs and the other hi-fi radio system, you know, outplay the radiograms of the old days, where they used to put 6 records on and leave them, and then they play it, you know. That's so today.
Yeah, no.
Today you've got to put one on at a time.
So did you have a say in things that went into the front room, or what was bought?
No, not really. Providing there was a few chairs and a settee, something like that, and 2 side chairs and straight chairs, and a nice little centre for dancing.
Yeah.
The West Indians in Manchester in those days, they were starved of entertainment, and we thought that we had provided that in a small way by opening this club in the outskirts of the city.
What was the club called?
It was called the club was called Manchester Colonials. Manchester Colonials. Formed in '53. And this club used to operate weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, or any special occasion, bank holidays. And we used to do quite well. And people used to come from all over the area to come there, because they say, well, it is our own club.
Yeah.
And we used to be able to play longer there than we do in the town halls. And it was very popular.
So how long did it run for?
We left that building around 1962. So we were there for about 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
Because our lease was up. I think we had about 6 or 7 year lease. The lease was up. So we had to go. And when we left, we went into another area where we had a house to use from the church, where we used to have meetings. And lucky for us, beside the church was a piece of land earmarked to be built a youth center. You know, temporary building, and we were offered the use to share that building, and we were very glad. It was more or less, it wasn't big, but it was big enough to house our Saturday night revelers. And they were happy with it because it was new, warm, and comfortable. So we shared that until about 4 years after redevelopment, and we had to go again.
And then you acquired another place?
We acquired another place in 73. We went into hibernation for about 5 years. And then after hibernation of about, we were rejuvenated, hibernated, reconstituted, and came to life back in 1973, where we are today. The name of the club is changed now from Manchester Colonials. It's now the West Indian Sports and Social and Community Centre.
Oh yeah, I had the front room, the sitting room, the kitchen. But that's where the blue spot came in. That's when everybody started. If you didn't have a blue spot, then you wasn't part of the equation you had. Or it was dead chuff. Then the television was started with 6 pence in the slot again. Then it went up to a shilling, 10, and we all had our blue spot ground.
What did you used to play on the blue spot? What sort of music?
First it used to be the English music,
Like
David Crockett and all that business. And then the blue beat started coming in, and then the little calypso started working its way. But it was mostly the blue beat.
So do you remember any of the artists on the blue beat?
Oh Lord. It was like Desmond Decker and Jimmy Cliff and the other one was in the West Indian Centre the other night. No, okay. But it was a few of the oh Christ, what's he called again? It's them. Oh okay.
Nice band.
Yeah. That's
a few of those
and
people.
What's the matter with me? Oh, one of those popular ones. We used to play like Al Green and...
So would you have friends coming round?
Oh yes, oh yeah. That was the in thing then.
So there'd be people, what we were doing, they'd eating,
drinking, would
playing
eat
dominoes,
and drink. Well, like we Kititians, we wasn't much into the domino. But we used to go where the Jamaicans hang out and get involved with the domino team and have little parties, and this team would play that team. We would more sit down and talk about everybody's going on about when we was home and where we come from. And so we were holding a different conversation to the Jamaicans. They had more to think because don't forget our island is very small. Even now they're asking you where St. Kitts is, some people. So we used to get called.
There's famous people from St. Kitts.
Yeah, and we used to get called Small Island. And go back where you come from, Small Island, girl, and you could stay from one side of your country and we on the other side. And you get more hassle from the Jamaicans than because we used to get annoyed when they said, you Jamaican now, you got to be from, you'd say no and they're saying you've got to be from Jamaica, and that used to really get us going. We said no, we're from St. Kitts. So our parties used to be completely different to their parties. But ever so often we would
come together.
Well, I mean with Jamaica we end up going right over to the Jamaican part. It was all the curry goat, and we're more like the pig feet, the south.
The south,
We're more on the south. Our party is going to like.
What kind of drinks would you drink though? Baby sham?
Yeah, we used to be like on cherry beet. It used to be the cherry beet brand, that cherry beet drink in that bottle, and little baby sham. But then it used to be wine and cider until we find out that wasn't it at all. We used to get a big massive hangover and headaches, and then they would say, oh, you drink too much wine and cider. But we thought, because where I come from, you only drink wine at Christmas. I remember writing back to one of my friends and saying, I could drink wine every day. It was so exciting. It was so exciting, to find out, go in the shop, buy myself a bottle of wine. So of course we get carried away, and my friend would come, I'll go, and we put the bottle of wine down and we get the cider. And we think, this is good, this is the life. We're drinking wine every day, not just at Christmas. So that was one of our main thing back in the partying, the going out to the clubs. and it was so good. Violence didn't come into it. Drugs didn't come into it. We used to be so embarrassed. 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, we were coming out in these lounge. And we'd get ready to, we used to go to a club called the Stump. We'd leave the Edinburgh. This is back in the 70s,
Yes,
70s.
Yeah.
And we'd be saying, the bus is coming. See if any other black people. Because we are coming out. Going like 7 and 8,
Yeah.
in our halter-neck long dresses and big going home. And some people are going to work.
In the morning.
In the Sunday morning. Shameful. It used to. Let's face it now, people get a bit,
Well, you were proud. You had all these guests coming around.
Yeah, that's so. We never used to be too proud, not too house proud. Like now, people are more house proud now.
Oh.
Those days, I'm saying, we never used to be house proud.
But
it was carpet, but then they would come in, and before you know it, you're up to it's party time. It wasn't like now you're thinking just messing up the carpet or you're pulling the front.
So your kids would come in, they could come into the front room any time?
But in our time, they're not allowed in the front room.
Right, okay.
But your friends, I mean, let's face it, you just start getting your little nice bits and pieces together that you couldn't afford. Then you're back home, and you look at your front room now and you feel, this is it.
Yeah.
And you lock that door.
Yeah.
Kids are not allowed, but your friends come, you open it.
Yeah. So what sort of nice things would you have in your front room then?
Well, like I said, again, Haitian difference to Jamaican. You'll find like Haitian that was into all this lace. We'd go visiting, then they'll have all these crochet. We was just a 3-piece, the cabinet, the ground, and that was it. So we never really into a lot. My Haitian people, we never into a lot of these. I mean,
Fully,
into some Jamaican places, and not calling it in a bad way. Don't get me wrong, because to each his own.
Yeah.
But they'll have like a table with a lot of flowers and the crochets all around. Well, it's St. Kitts people, we never into that. Just give us...
So what would you say was different with the Haitians then, in terms of your front room?
We were more simple, very simple. As long as we have the ground.
So music was the
center of it. Once you have that ground, and you could hit that record shop and Denmark Road, you're happy. You come home, the first thing you're doing coming from work, winter, autumn, summer, spring, don't care. The first thing is to put that music on, but the kids can't go in.
So you didn't really play Jim Reeves and...
Yes, all those, but just can't remember.
Jim Reeves and Elvis, Pat Boone.
All of those.
Kim Cole.
Yes, all of those we played. All, those Frank Sinatra and all those things. When we come, it was, more peaceful until we get Jamaican and we started. But as from home, we used to get them coming over that one that died the other day. Oh, yeah, remember memories come?
What, the Calypso?
No. That's sing ballad.
Barry White.
Barry White and what's the matter with me, Barry? But all the all-time singers. Just he was before Barry White. Perry Coleman, before I came to this country, used to listen. So when we got here, we start going to record shops and our music should be much more, all below Frank Sinatra, Perry Coleman, all that sort of thing. So when we came here, we used to play a lot of that.
And those little 7 inches.
Oh yeah. We used to have the one first that we my first one was one that had to stand in.
Oh really, Tim?
My very first, before
not the one with the big horn on it, and you have to...
No, not with the big horn.
You have to wind it up.
You had to take down and put it on.
Oh, that's right.
You have to put
you could put 6 or 7 records and it would play.
And the LP, and then you just drop down.
That's right.
Then, but afterward we move on to bigger and better things.
Oh, right.
But then, that's what it was mostly about, the music. And again, I'm saying, because we were so young, tired was never mentioned. You could come from work, look after the kids, but the music go on and then somebody come, there goes the wine and the cider and the pig's foot and the rice and the peas.
Stew peas.
And the pig snout and, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was nothing to just,
Yeah.
it was life as much, we just start. I'm coming out, we didn't have no phone. So it's nobody to phone, you just hear the knock on the door. You didn't even used to have bell then. There was nobody, just a knock on the door, shouting from outside, and you just come in and I forgot this record, I forgot that record. And we just one big happy bunch. Just sit down, play our music, talk about home, work, you know, the way of living here, what we like, what we don't like. But after so many years, we just sort of fitted. You miss home, certain things we still miss about home, but after being here so many years, you just sort of blend in. But you never forget your roots.
That's right.
Never ever forget. Sometime on the wall I'll have a photograph of the kids, or we used to have these big Jesus, the Last Supper.
That's right.
I've still got one
That's a
out there.
great one.
Yeah, I couldn't get rid of that. I love that one. I've got a big one in my bedroom, and I've got one out there.
Yeah.
Everybody house, you had to meet with that.
Yeah.
We had it.
And then this particular thing.
And
this
the
black
scroll,
one,
yes,
that's
you know,
the
where
one.
you're from, St. Kitts.
Yes, that's right.
It's hanging on the wall and things like that. But like I said, we kept a more simpler house than is unique.
But then you have on your
We never
Satina,
give
you
it
have
up.
doilies now.
Delight, yes.
So where did you get the idea from?
Since we're
you
from
said-
this country.
All right.
You know, and you like go have a white friend and you go and you notice, and then you go to the shop and you hear chair backs.
Bill Greenback.
Yeah.
Bill Greenback.
Bill
Bill Greenback.
That's what we brought out for Bill
Yeah.
Green.
When people go in the shop and you say, oh, for the chair, and then so we start buying the chair backs and the
Did you ever
cushion.
cover your chairs with plastic?
Oh no, I didn't. No, I never.
And then you used to have plastic in the passage?
Oh yes, we'd have our plastic on the carpet when carpet start, because don't forget it was liner then. We used to get the tins of polish every Friday night and we was on that floor shining that line.
I didn't know you polished front liner.
Yeah, we used to get the tins of polish and get you and polish that.
Oh.
That the front door coming in and the dining room, and the next thing somebody slip and break the front.
Because yeah, it was slippery.
Because we were so proud and so happy that we've got the front room, and we used to see like the white people scrubbing the steps, and so we would go out and get those steps, you know, rub the stairs, but wash all outside and polish the floor and things like that. It was very exciting, you know. We look back on it now, what was it all about? It was sheer hard work. And then after, I think it's about the late 60s that people really start getting into carpets, you know. Could be around that time, but when we came, there was not a room that we rent or anywhere we go had carpet. It was always the liner. And then some of us didn't know, we would put the bleach and the stuff in, and then you look, there's nothing on it. We mopped the floor, that we've taken all the top, you know, of the thing, but it was good days. You know, thing that we should never forget. And thank God that we've come this far, that I've got carpet and a nice three-piece. We never used to have these sort of
This is
things.
lovely. Well, I've got to photograph all of this. In this.
Yeah, we never used to have this sort of thing. And then they started bringing like some little cabinets. You know, and then you'd put all your little lace in and get your little glasses, and because then, hey, that was the thing, you know, and just polishing that little cabinet and things like that. But nothing like that was around then, and the glass table or anything. If you could afford it, you have a little wooden one.
Yeah, that's right.
And then after they started bringing out,
With a gold rim, maybe.
yeah,
around it.
then they started bringing out the little round ones with the glass in the middle, and then again you were so chuffed with it. You spend all your time polishing and cleaning.
That's
But
right. So when you got the council house, this house, I mean, how did you feel?
I feel like a queen.
I felt like a queen, I'm telling you. You know, I can go out and come in as I like, do what I want to do, buy what I want to buy. When you live in those houses, you couldn't buy anything for yourself because they said they come in to take over the house.
Yeah.
So you just have to put up with what they put in the houses and give you, you see.
So in your front room here now, what was one of the first things you bought?
One of the first things I bought when I moved in here.
This
Well,
for this room.
well, I bought this, that, this.
Okay, so this is this over there is a sideboard,
Yeah.
and you have your crockery in there
Yeah.
and so forth. Okay, and then you bought the settee.
Yes, the settee. But I did have another settee, but it wasn't as big as this one, so I sold it and I bought this bigger ones.
Okay, and what pieces in here do you feel most proud of really special to you?
Well, nothing really.
But I mean, okay, if you were to lose something, and what one thing in here, if you were to lose it or got damaged, you would feel really upset.
Really upset. Well, you see, things like these, I had to put a mind on them. I had this sewing machine there. If anything should happen to that, it would really hurt.
Yeah. Why? Why is that?
Pardon?
Why is that?
Because I can, if I want to sew anything, I can sew it. I don't like to sew with my hands.
So did you learn seamstressing when you were back home?
No, I came here and I go to sewing school at night.
Oh.
Yes. You know, when sometime in the morning when I come in off work, I go to sewing school. And then when I finish work now, I go to sewing school. I go both night and I go day as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of things you make? Dresses?
Just make dresses.
For yourself?
Yeah.
Friends?
No, I never sew for my friends. I sew for myself.
Just for
because
yourself?
everybody's sewing for themselves, you see. But if somebody asked me to do something, I would do it, you know. Yes, so that just have and I made it myself. I made some nice things for myself.
Do you do your own curtains? You
Yeah,
hem them?
I did
hem them?
those, yeah. Well, as time goes by, you buy bits and pieces. You don't buy everything one go
time.
because you don't have money. You just have to buy as you go by. But the most important thing that I have is my dining table, because you see, you want your dining table. If anybody come, they can always sit and have a meal. I think I had that dining table before I came here, because where I was living, they didn't have any dining table. And that cabinet over there, I bought them when I moved in here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a classic drinks cabinet.
And that one up this is an old antique. That was the first thing I could buy to put.
Oh, yes. You don't see that anymore.
No. But you know, I keep stuff in it, so I won't throw it out. I know people might come in and say, oh, that is auntie. You know, even some little sugar thing and salt thing I have from ancient time. And say, oh, that is auntie. My mom, somebody said, oh, my mom used to have some of those.
So why do you think people hold on to the thing? Why do you think people hold on to them? Do you think it's because they feel it's well made or?
No, you just buy them and you have them and you just put them down. You're not even using them, but them is there.
Put them down for what, though?
I don't know.
Tomorrow?
No, not for now. Tomorrow you just leave them there, because I've got things now here, and I don't things in there. I don't even go in there. And I said to myself, sometimes if I know any young people, you know, who trying to set up home, I will give them some of what I have. But the thing is with these young people today, you can't approach them and ask them if they want something. They insult you.
Yeah. Or they feel you're insulting them.
Yeah. So them is there. When I'm dead and gone, I don't care what they want to do with them.
But because so many West Indians, some particularly women, have their front room, and they have their glasses, they have their crockery. My mom has the same thing, and sometimes asks, "Why are you holding on to this stuff?"
Well, it's not a matter of holding on to them. You just buy them and them is
You
there.
put them down.
Yeah, them is there.
Mm.
Because I think we buy too much things.
Yes, yes, yes.
You go to the shop, you see something and you say, oh, I like that, and you just buy it and you put it down. It's true. You know, since I moved in this house, July 1973,
Mm.
I have a trunk upstairs with some beddings. I never ever open them and look at them. Probably they might be no good. I don't need them, so I don't even go and look at them.
But you're not going to get rid of them.
Eh?
You're going to get rid of them or what?
When I used to give away some of my things, you know, because if my brother them come, he used to have some big blankets and things. I don't use them because I use the duvet to cover it.
Mm.
And if my son come and he wants a blanket, I give it to him. My brother come and give it to them. So anybody, when my grandson was going to university, I gave him quite a few beddings and pots and plates, you know. Yeah. But they don't need me now, you see. They don't, my country and them don't need, they have their own house now and everything. They don't need
But they
me.
come to see you.
Oh yes, oh my God, they love me. My grandchildren and they love me. Sometimes when I least expect the phone, hello Nana, you alright? I said, yes I am. They're fine.